A live look with the ceremony getting underway in just a couple of minutes. Global News anchor Dallas Flexhog is standing by to MC the service with thousands of Calgarians expected to be in attendance. The Field of Crosses spans 5 acres along Memorial Drive and is set up for public viewing and remembrance every year from November 1st until today. There are 3,636 crosses. Each one displays the name, age, rank, regiment, and date of death of a Southern Alberta soldier killed in action. At the center, near the cenotaph, 120 crosses marked with maple leaves honor the over 120,000 fallen Canadian military members from coast to coast to coast. Now, the Field of Crosses would not be possible without hundreds of volunteers putting in 30,000 hours of work. The bases are installed and each cross is refurbished and cleaned before being put into place in perfectly straight rows. And every year on the eve of Remembrance Day, the field is illuminated by thousands of lanterns for the Night of Lights. Volunteers light candles and set a lantern in front of each cross. Those lanterns left to burn bright until dawn this morning. Now, this week, I caught up with Sean Libben, who chairs the board for the Field of Crosses, to talk about how this incredible display honors those who lost their lives in service to our country. George L. Cowan, just one of the thousands of names down here at the Field of Crosses. And Sean, every cross tells a story, doesn't it?
They do, and we're stopping here almost randomly. Lance Corporal Cowan is between 2 World War I veterans, but he's a World War II veteran, and I can obviously quickly see that he was a Lance Corporal in the Calgary Highlanders and that he died in 1944. But there's also this biography card that I have the opportunity to see his face. And when I flip it over and I read his story, I can understand that Lance Corporal Cowan was 19 years old when he joined the Calgary Highlanders. Prior to that, he worked in the roads and he shipped off to war and died pretty much a year later. It's just one story, and every one of these crosses or Stars of David, they tell a story. And it's important that those stories get told.
As we make our way along this row here, Sean, talk about the purpose that the Field of Crosses serves in our community every year.
Well, I think it's just what I said, that we have to remember these troops, these soldiers, sailors, and airmen made the ultimate sacrifice to ship off to a part of the world that they didn't live in. And if we don't remember, people will forget. Now, here's Kevin Dallaire, as an example, and Kevin is one of the 158 that we lost in Afghanistan in 2006. He was serving for the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry. Kevin's mom, Diane, and his dad, Gaetan, come here every day, but they come here every day not just to honor their son, which they do, and we all do, but they come as volunteers every day because they want to make sure that all of these people's sacrifices, not just their own son, is remembered. And I think if you really want to nail it down, I think of Mrs. Dallaire all the time because I have 5 kids of my own, but I can't imagine the horror of losing one of them. But the bigger horror, the bigger tragedy would be if we forgot Kevin, if we forgot to tell his story after Mr. and Mrs. Dallaire can't. So our mission is, when I look at Mr. Daly or Mr. Davison or Captain Davis, their family isn't here to tell their story. We're their family. We're going to tell their story at the Field of Crosses for as long as the Field of Crosses exists, and I hope that's forever.
Well said. We return now to the Field of Crosses as the Remembrance Day ceremony is about to begin. The service starts with the Calgary Fire Department pipes and drums performing a traditional parade march towards the cenotaph. Its members are professional firefighters and employees of the Calgary Fire Department, and every year they travel across Western Canada taking part in charitable events and memorial services. Our Dallas Flex Hog will now guide us through this year's Field of Crosses observance as Calgary remembers.
Good morning. My name is Dallas Flex Hog. It is my true honor to be the MC for today's remembrance ceremony here at the Field of Crosses in Calgary. It is here that over 3,700 crosses stand each year to acknowledge those from southern Alberta who made the ultimate sacrifice during active duty and service to Canada during times of war, conflict, and peace. On Remembrance Day, Canadians pause to honor and give thanks to those of every generation who have served Canada in uniform at sea, on land, and in the air. Canada's military has a long and distinguished history with many proud traditions that merit recognition by all Canadians. While there are many important stories to share, one of the best known and most significant was the liberation of the Netherlands during the Second World War. More than 7,600 Canadian soldiers, sailors, and airmen died fighting to free the Dutch people from the yoke of Nazi oppression. And to this day, a special relationship exists between the Canadian and Dutch people. As this year also marks the 80th anniversary of the subsequent victory in Europe, our ceremony today will combine the solemnity of remembrance and also the jubilation of victory, a hard-fought victory which resulted in relief, in optimism, and in hope for those weary from 6 long years of struggle that the Second World War imposed. We pay special tribute to those who demonstrated the valor, strength, and determination and will that was all necessary to face the hardships of that endeavor. We gather on this land known by the Blackfoot as Mohkinstsis at the confluence of where the Bow River meets the Elbow River. This is the ancestral homeland of many First Nations who make up the peoples of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. This includes the Niitsitapi or Blackfoot people, the Kainai, the Piikani, the Siksika, and the Tsuut'ina, and the Iarhe Nakota people, which includes the Bears Paw, Chiniki, and Goodstoney First Nations. The city of Calgary is also home to the Otipemisiwak Métis government and the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. The Field of Crosses honors the significant contribution of many First Nations service members who are commemorated here in the field and acknowledge their service and sacrifice. Let us all now raise our voices to join with the Cantari Choir in the singing of our national anthem. The horrors of the First World War released a great outburst of emotional poetry from the soldiers who fought in it. One of the most well-known poems was written by Canadian medic, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. John McCrae in Ypres, Belgium in May of 1915 in response to the death of McCrae's close friend killed in battle. Murray McCann, founder of the Field of Crosses, will recite In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row that mark our place. And in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our cause with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye lose faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
During the opening stages of the Second World War, country after country throughout Europe fell to the invading Nazi forces. By mid-1940, much of Western Europe, including the Netherlands, had been conquered and occupied. It would take years of hard struggle for allies to build up their resources and turn the tide of the war. On June 6, 1944, the campaign from the West to free Fortress Europe finally began when Allied forces came ashore in Normandy, France, with the greatest combined military operation in history, known as D-Day. The liberating armies would soon advance north and east, but the Netherlands, with its challenging terrain of canals, dikes, and floodlands, would prove to be a very, very difficult battleground. In mid-September of 1944, the Allies launched Operation Market Garden, a daring land and airborne attack behind enemy lines in the eastern Netherlands. The goal was to bring the war to a rapid end, but the bold offensive failed. It soon became apparent that the conflict would drag on. To maintain pressure on the Nazi forces, the Allies needed a reliable way to keep the flow of vital supplies moving to the front lines of Northwest Europe. This meant a large seaport would need to be taken on the continent. While the major Belgian port city of Antwerp had been recaptured, almost intact in early of September 1944, its use was complicated by the fact that it was 80 kilometers from the North Sea. It was only accessible by the Scheldt River, a waterway that was still in enemy hands. Much of the Scheldt estuary runs through the Netherlands. The 1st Canadian Army led the way in fierce combat to clear the Nazi troops from its shores. Our troops would succeed in opening up the port of Antwerp to Allied shipping, a key step in the liberation of Northwest Europe. But it would come at a great cost. More than 6,000 Canadians were killed, wounded, or taken prisoner in this bitter campaign, including one of the highest rates of battle exhaustion of any Canadian action of the war. After 3 months of holding the front line in the Netherlands, in February of 1945, the 1st Canadian Army took part in fierce Allied offensive through muddy and flooded ground to drive the enemy from the Nemean front and back across the Rhine River. The major push to finally liberate all of Northwest Europe had begun. In early April, the 1st Canadian Army began to clear the Nazi forces from the northeast of the Netherlands. Often aided by information provided by the Dutch resistance fighters, Canadian troops advanced rapidly. They recaptured communities, canals, and farmland as they pushed forward. By mid-April, British and Canadian forces had cleared the city of Arnhem after 2 days of house-to-house fighting. Only days later, they also freed Apeldoorn, continuing their advance forward towards the North Sea. The Canadians kept up the pressure, putting their lives on the line, even though it was evident that the rapidly weakening enemy forces would soon have to surrender. Ecstatic Dutch people cheered Canadian troops as one town after another was liberated. Enemy forces surrendered on May 5th, finally liberating all of the Netherlands. All Nazi forces on the continent would unconditionally surrender on May 7th. The next day was declared Victory in Europe Day. The euphoria that was felt on that VE Day brought jubilation and celebration throughout the world. To help capture the euphoria that was felt on Victory in Europe Day, we turn now to Cantari Choir under the direction of Graham Climie. Birdsong is a poignant poem written by an unknown child in the Terezin concentration camp. Rather than focus on the horror and destruction of war and the loss of personal freedom, this young author writes of the beauty of the world and the joy of simply being alive, the emotion felt by many on that Victory Day. The poem has been set to music by Canadian composer Paul Reed.
It doesn't know the world at all, who stays in his nest and doesn't go out. He doesn't know what birds know best, nor what I sing about, nor what I sing about, nor what I sing about, that the world is full of loneliness. When dewdrops sparkle in the grass, and earth is aflood with morning birds to flood
Wow. The fighting in the Netherlands was often bitter, but ultimately the Canadians were able to liberate the Dutch people and help bring the Second World War to an end in Europe, even though fighting would continue for several months in Asia and the Pacific. The victory in Europe came at a terrible cost. More than 7,600 Canadians died in the efforts to free the Netherlands. Other service personnel returned home with injuries to body and mind that they carried with them for the rest of their lives. Most of our fallen heroes from the liberation of the Netherlands lie buried in Grosbeek, Holton, and Bergen-op-Zoom Canadian War cemeteries. But it is our honor here at the Field of Crosses to honor those from Southern Alberta who gave the supreme sacrifice of their lives. Today, Dr. Timothy Raleigh, President and Vice Chancellor of Mount Royal University, will lead us in the act of remembrance, followed by the commitment to remember, presented by Cantari Choir.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. On the ocean, white caps flow. There are no crosses, row on row, but they who sleep beneath the seas rest in peace, for our land is free. We will remember them.
They were young, as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge, amid the winds of time, to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them. We will remember them.
Our bugler, Captain Charles Mallett from the Royal Canadian Air Force, will sound the last post. During the 2 minutes of silence, we will remember the 120,000 Canadians who died serving this great country, and especially the 3,700 Southern Albertans who are remembered here in the Field of Crosses. Piper Nathaniel Trotter will play the traditional lament, Flowers of the Forest, which is followed by rouse.
away! Standard! East!
To commemorate the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe, British historian and poet May Redding wrote a powerful and moving tribute where the sounds of war give way to the sounds of celebration and freedom. The poem is able to capture both the sense of hope and renewal that victory brought, while also recognizing the scars and sorrows that preceded it. Judith Horton from Cantari Choir will present the poem, The Dawn of Victory.
The bells, long mute, now chime again. The choir voices call to men who, wearied, lay their burdens down and trade the rifle for the plow. The lanes, once dark with fear and dread, now bloom where footsteps tread, as ribbons dance from hands set free, like banners cast upon the sea. O mothers, weeping not in woe, but in the light of morning's glow. Fathers, stand with steady breath, for life has triumphed over death. The old shall sit with dreams restored. The young shall learn the ways of peace. No tyrant's chain, no bitter sword shall shroud them now or bid them cease. Yet scars remain, some hearts still roam. Through ruins ash, through battle's stone, love carved deep upon the scroll, a writ penned with sorrow's toll. But let not grief, though just, remain to bind us fast in sorrow's chain. For morning rises wide and bright and sows the fields with golden light. Raise up the glass, let voices ring, let weary souls in chorus sing, not just for war's last raiders fall, but for peace hard won by all.
The names of our roll call today are of those who gave their lives in service to our country in the liberation of the Netherlands and represent those personnel who served both in the Army and the Air Force. Pilot Officer Lloyd Morley Anderson, 26. Flying Officer William Anderson, 25. Lieutenant Robert Murray Andrew, 31. Pilot Officer Kenneth Harry Austin, 29. Pilot Officer Louis Bazarab, 22. Lance Corporal Max Bossert, 34. Gunner John Bradley, 36. Flying Officer Wilfred Henry Brooks, 21. Private William Carey Brown, 29. Flying Officer Alan Bruce, 22. Flight Lieutenant Air Bomber Douglas John Alexander Buchanan, 24. Major John Campbell, 27. Flying Officer John Earl Clements, 21.
Remember me,
Pilot Officer Francis Alma Coombs, 25. Sergeant Manly Morton Cummins, 20. Flight Sergeant Lorne Graham Davies, 20. Guardsman Maurice Edward Thomas Duthie, 20. Flight Lieutenant Air Bomber William Robert Elcote, 32. Flight Lieutenant Frederick Filto, 23. Lieutenant Robert Ross Gammon, 29. Pilot Officer William James Cameron Gibson, 20. Private George Wilson Grant, 32. Gunner James Edward Hardwood, 21. Pilot Officer Harry Leonard Henderson, 19. Pilot Officer Louis Edward Hoffman, 25. Warrant Office Class 1, Robert Gerald Hutton. Sergeant Frederick Grant James, 25. Flying Officer Harry William Johnson, 23. Flying Officer Robert Henry Jones, 21. Flying Officer William Kurlick, 21. Warrant Officer Class 2 Metro Alex Krowenchuk, 22. Flight Sergeant George Weston Loud, 25. Flight Lieutenant Charles Henry Living, 30. Flying Officer David Louis Caskey McCullough, 22. Lieutenant Donald Patton McDaniel, 27. Private Cyril Miller, 20. Lance Sergeant Clarence Ernest Nadeau, 24. Flight Sergeant Harold Allen Neal, 21. Flying Lieutenant George Homer Thompson, 37. Wreaths will be laid in honor of those who gave the supreme sacrifice. Today's wreaths will be laid on behalf of the following: Canada, Province of Alberta, City of Calgary, Memorial Cross Parents, Royal Canadian Navy, Canadian Army, Royal Canadian Air Force, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Alberta Health Services, Calgary Police Service, Calgary Fire Department, Field of Crosses, YPRA 3rd Unit Canadian Army Veterans, the Bittman family, and the McCann Family Foundation. As the wreaths are laid, soloist Graham Climie will sing The Dying Soldier together with Cantari Choir.
in vain. When I am gone, when I am gone, when I am gone into heaven. Go tell my wife she must not grieve. Go kiss my little children, for they will call for me in vain. When I am gone, when I am gone, when I am gone into
Let us all join now our voices together with Cantari Choir in the singing of the royal anthem, God Save the King.
Praise, attention!
God save our gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King, send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
Praise, standard, east!
To conclude the formal part of our Remembrance Day ceremony, we turn to Canadian jazz legend, pianist Oscar Peterson. This year marks the 100th anniversary of his birth. Oscar Peterson wrote the music to Hymn to Freedom. Harriet Hamilton wrote the words to express in simple language the hope for unity, peace, and dignity for all humanity, the very ideals which our fallen fought for. The choir, Rev 52, under the direction of John Morgan, will sing Hymn to Freedom. The Calgary Fire Department pipes and drums will play a tune to put us all in the marching spirit. And keep your eyes skyward, in about 8 or 9 minutes, if all goes according to plan, because there is set to be a fly past of an RCAF C-17 Globemaster transport plane that is coming to us from the Royal Canadian Air Force's 429 Transport Squadron based in Trenton, Ontario. You are asked to remain in your place until the pipes and drums have finished playing and our uniformed personnel have been dismissed. As we leave here today, we do so with a renewed pledge to never forget those who have fallen in service to Canada. Let us ensure that the legacy of those who made the ultimate sacrifice lives on in our actions and in our words. Thank you for being a part of the Field of Crosses Remembrance Day ceremony.
That's when we'll be free.
2 minutes. We are waiting for that fly past. The RCAF C-17 Globemaster transport plane coming to us from the Royal Canadian Air Force's 429 Transport Squadron based in Trenton, Ontario. It was doing a fly past in a number of areas, including down in Lethbridge and over at the military museums, and hopefully we are treated to it next. That is a great way to end this year's Field of Crosses ceremony. Thank you again, everyone, for coming and being here today. It is an important thing to do, and I know it is appreciated. Please stay in your seats until all uniformed personnel have made their way.
Join your ladies! Jazz! Mass!
And that concludes our special broadcast of Calgary Remembers live from the Field of Crosses. The Field of Crosses is a charity, and people are encouraged to adopt a cross in support of the project. For more information on how you can do that, you can visit fieldofcrosses.com. I'm Blake Lough for Dallas Flexhog and the entire Global News team. Thank you so much for watching.